Jonas, you wrote a compelling article about like the goal scoring prowess of Auston Matthews.
Well, I just think it's become easy to overlook it and kind of take it for granted, myself included, where you're just like, he just scored twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at his total, it's like 21 goals in 26 games. It's like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then you think of like it contextually, and you're like, well, he's on pace to score 66. Well, that's a lot. That would break the record that he set 2 seasons ago of 60. Nobody has scored 66 in like forever. I think I'd have to go back and check.
Probably.
And then you're like, well, who would it probably be?
Well, I went in Solani and Lemieux.
Yeah.
Like 72 that year.
Yeah.
76,
I think
Solani
it
and
might be
McGillney.
Lemieux.
Yeah, maybe Lemieux might have had
When he had
66 and like
69 and
93 or
70.
something like that.
Yeah, anyway. And then I was like, well, how many guys have scored 60 twice? And it's like nobody.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of rolling along, and it's like he's going to get to potentially 2 60-goal seasons in his first 8 seasons. And then you're like, well, wait a second, that's kind of insane.
Right.
Ovechkin has never scored 60 twice. He's done it once. And it's just like I kind of need to remind myself as someone who's watching this day to day, and you can kind of just be like, how insane this scoring is, because it's not.
That is wild.
We just don't see it ever.
No, he's the best goal scorer in the league, and he has been for at least 3 years, if not more than that. And I believe the amount of goals he has through the amount of games he's played, he's on a faster pace than Ovechkin was.
Yeah.
Like, which is amazing. Like, that's to put it into perspective. The incredible thing about Ovechkin is the longevity of it all. Last year, I think he had 40. He had 42. He had more goals than Matthews last year, and he was 37.
Yeah.
And Auston was 25. So, like, I can't get to a point where I envision a conversation a decade from now where we're talking Matthews chasing Gretzky down or Ovechkin down. But if he stays on the same pace, we will be having that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just feels like health. That will be the big thing.
Yes, because his
relatively
ability,
healthy last couple of years though. Like early in his career, he was missing. Last couple,
He just kind of gets nicked up, and like he played through all that stuff last year.
Yeah.
But it's like Ovechkin was just like such a tank.
Right.
Still such a tank. But
and Ovi always seemed to start fast, which like statistically Matthews has this year. But a couple of years ago when he scored 60, he didn't.
No,
he
not
went
at
on.
all.
He got stronger as the season went on, and I think we're seeing that out of the way Matthews is playing recently. Like you date back, I think the Boston game a couple of Saturdays ago, he had 2 goals. He was brilliant that game.
That was his breakout because he had gone like 6 or something.
Right,
Goal.
He busted out that night.
He's got 7 and 5 since.
And against the Islanders, he had like 16 shot attempts, 11 hit the net. He scored, obviously. He had 2 against the Rangers. He could have had more than that. Like all of a sudden, he's starting to chug. A lot of it is driven by, I think, how he plays through the neutral zone, like how powerful he can be through the neutral zone. He's really starting to skate. And someone sent me this note earlier in the week that he now has 66 2-goal games as a Leaf. The team record is 71 by Sittler. Like he very well could pass that by the end of the season.
Yeah.
And
more
he's
multi-goal games this year than solo goal games.
Right. Which, again, is not something that he was doing earlier in his career.
No.
Like, a lot of times it was 1 here, 1 there, 1 here,
every
then
game.
2.
Well, I think last year it wasn't until like February until he had his second multi-goal game.
Yeah. But that's more important context. He's not even having like a great season.
That's
really. And it's like he's on pace for 66 goals. And like, well, what, how does that make sense?
Isn't that insane? I was thinking about that the other day, and I think I ended up putting it out on Twitter. It's like this guy's got 21 goals in 26 games, and he's been incredibly inconsistent.
Yeah.
Imagine this guy goes on a heater over the next 3 weeks to a month.
I think he's starting it right now.
He's 50 and 50 in play.
50 and 50 is so extreme that I can't see it in today's game.
Well, he had it.
He scored 51 in a 50-game span, so it's
he did. But you're saying the real 50 and 50.
Yes.
Like game 50 of the season, he has 50 goals.
He hits 50 goals. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he could have 30 before
That's what I'm
the New Year,
saying.
right?
Like, he's
But I don't
playing
think it's
poorly
50. Yeah.
throughout the season. It's been inconsistent. If he goes on a heater here and these guys get cooking.
I don't.
We were talking, was it McDavid? We were talking about 50 and 50 last year. I believe we were, and it didn't happen. It's so difficult to do. I don't think it's happened since, I want to say, Brett Hull in like the late 80s, maybe. Like even the Solani and McGillney years, I'm not sure they did 50 and 50. Like the list
Lemieux might have been like in 93.
Possibly, yeah. But it's a very short list.
Yeah.
Like 50 and 50 is very short, even shorter than the 9 guys who have had 60 multiple times.
It's 8.
It's 8 guys. So he's going for 9. Yes. Yeah. If he were to achieve it, he would be the 9th, which that is, you're talking esteemed company. And I'm guessing Like I jotted down the names that are generally considered greatest goal scorers of all time. Ovechkin's one of them. He's never done it. He's never done multiple 60. Gretzky, he's done it. Lemieux, Brett Hull, Mike Bossy. Like those are the guys.
Yeah.
You know, Yuri Curry would probably be in there. I'm sure Curry's done it.
He is.
So
Bure
did Bure do it twice?
twice.
I guess once in Vancouver and once in Florida.
Yeah, I'd have to look where it was.
Bure would
was
he's top
awesome.
10 goal scorer of all time.
That
I
would be
think
a
so, for
fun
sure.
ranking, like who the top 10 are.
Well,
where he's
like
in there.
I think you can make a case he's already in it or he's close.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's in this esteemed company because of longevity.
Matthews, you mean?
I'm talking Auston Matthews. Like he is. If you hold the mantle as the best in the game for multiple years.
Yeah.
Especially something like I'm not talking, hey, this guy's great at face-offs or he's a really good penalty killer. I'm talking the primary objective of the sport is to score goals. And I think he took the baton from Ovechkin 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, I mean,
and even though he had a down year last year,
he had 40.
Exactly. And it was noted how down it was.
Yeah.
Right.
And yet, I don't think you lose your belt because of 1 year. And if he had, he's retained it.
I
this
like
year.
that, the belt.
Yeah, I
belt.
think it's indisputable because of what he does on 5-on-5.
Well,
Like 5-on-5 goal
weird
stats
thing.
are off the charts.
But not this year. Like that's what's also weird. It's like the 5-on-5 stats aren't great.
But
as they
historically,
were.
since he came into the league, he's the best.
Well, and like you think about it, like as a rookie, he was the Rocket Richard runner-up as a rookie.
Right.
He just like walks it. Well, I mean, he walks in and scores 4. So I just think
Pretty good head start.
pretty good.
Yeah. No, like listen, it's not something that people are unaware of, but when you start putting historical context to it,
Yeah.
and start comparing it to other, like when you start bringing in names like Gretzky and Bossy,
And those
and
were
Bure
like
and
higher scoring eras. Like it's
right.
just-
And again,
Well, that's
it also
like era adjusted makes it even more, of an incredible feat.
Yes.
and it speaks to the fact that he's not a kid anymore.
Well,
Like this
yeah.
is his 8th season.
Yeah.
Like he's now played long enough where it's like you're into a different part of your career where you can have these conversations because there's enough data there. You know, like with Bedard, you can project.
And yet,
but
hey,
that's
it's like
what it is.
he's 26, and I don't know what the number is off the top of my head. I think it might be 100. I think he might be 100 goals from tying Sundin for the Leaf record. I think it's something like that. He's 100 goals.
Yeah, he's
ish
2 years away
being
from
the Leaf record holder, and he'll be like 28.
Yeah.
Not even 30.